Hello, welcome to AmandaSushii Speaks. Today we are talking Emily in Paris Season 2. I should have said bonjour. We have so much to talk about. Number 1, numero uno of Season 2, Alfie. We have a new character here who wears suits all the time and is fine. See, him and Emily, they actually have this build up to their relationship, and he's just like upfront about what he wants in a relationship, and I just don't understand. Emily, wake up! This man is right in front of you telling you exactly what he wants. Why? Gabrielle is nothing in comparison. What are you Gabrielle literally cheated on his girlfriend, although with Emily. Still, he's a cheater, and I just don't understand Emily's dilemma. Choosing between Gabrielle or Alfie, choosing between a cheater and someone who's upfront and says they want a relationship and they really like you and they overstayed their stay because they want to see you and they're not getting paid. Hello? Emily, wake up! I love how they met, that Alfie was like, the grumpy guy in French class who doesn't freaking like French. And they started off with a little enemies to lovers, which I'm a sucker for. So I was really happy to see the relationship develop. And to be honest, I kind of thought he's more of like an F-boy, just because of I don't know, he just looks really good. He's in a suit and he has that type of demeanor. And then when they slept together and he didn't return her calls or text her or whatever because she had his phone, we didn't know that at the time. So I was like, oh, is he giving F-boy? And she was being a little too desperate too. But anyway, we find out, no, he's actually a good guy and he actually genuinely likes Emily. And yeah, I like him a lot. He's like perfect boyfriend material. Emily, what are we doing? Snap out of it. Snap out of it. You don't need to be effing your downstairs neighbor who has a girlfriend, okay? So right now, Alfie seems to be the closest relationship Emily has had for these past 2 seasons. He's the one who's giving very boyfriend-girlfriend vibes and serious, and he, straight up asked her and told her what he wanted. And I just, I'm rooting for them only because I want Alfie to be happy, but I do feel like Alfie is way too good for Emily, and I hope he finds someone better because she's not fully invested in him. She's still thinking about Gabrielle, and that's just not fair for him when he's putting his all into their relationship. So that's just my thoughts on that. I'm going to do a quick jump around because that's what I do on my podcast, and I want to talk about Kami and Emily and their dumb little pact. And by the way, if my voice sounds weird, it's because I'm getting over a cold, okay? So I don't sound like this all the time. But anyway, the pact. The pact to agree to not date Gabrielle is so middle school. I just was like, is this real? Is this what they put in the show? And I guess it was Kami's mom's idea. In the beginning of the season, I was with Kami. I was like, she just got cheated on. She is fully in her right to not want to talk to Emily, to not want to be friends with Emily. that's crazy. And then to not want to see Gabrielle either, right? It's justified for her to be angry at both of them. But I feel like she was by herself getting over it, and she was kind of still staying angry, but I mean, that's just part of the journey, right? But then her mom comes in and is like, if you actually love him, I have a plan of how you can get him back. But it's come on, Mom, would you really want your daughter to end up with the guy who cheated on her with her best friend? That's who you want for your daughter. Just, let me calm down. So Kami and Emily make that pact to not date Gabrielle, and then basically, it seems like the mom's plan was to kind of make Emily look bad a lot and have Kami be the one rescuing everything. So when there was that shoot for Kami's dad at the chateau and he freaking cut off his finger. All right. What's his name? Chandler Bing. Anyway, that was his toe. My bad. I take that back. But anyway, and even though that was his idea, they blamed it on Emily. Can you believe she made him do that for the shot or whatever? And it's just icky. And then also Kami saved Gabrielle. It was Kami and Emily kind of saving Gabrielle and Anton during their fallout. So basically, she just found little ways to manipulate and get back into his heart. And it worked because at the end of season 2, she and Gabrielle are moving in together. That was crazy to me because they were broken up because he cheated on her. And now all of a sudden, they're moving in dating. That was just an about face. And I'm kind of annoyed because I don't know, I was rooting for Kami. Like, I actually liked her in season one. I liked her in kind of like the first-ish, maybe quarter of this season, and then it kind of did that weird thing, and I'm not really a huge fan of her right now, so yeah, we'll see what season 3 brings. And also there were moments when Emily was side-eyeing, Gabrielle and Kami when they were kind of flirting or getting close again and all that stuff, but it's also like, weren't you trying to get them back together? At least in the first part of the season, she was definitely trying to get them back together because of her guilty conscience. And honestly, to me, that seems like the only reason. If you listen to the episode before this, all about season 1, I am right now really not an Emily fan, and this season did not make it any better. And in Emily's defense, they did have that pact afterwards. That's why she was side-eyeing. Why was Kami and Gabrielle flirting if we have this pact in place? But let's be real, like, it's adults pacts with feelings, no, it's not a thing. And anyway, yes, Kami was totally fake with that pact, but also Emily, the entire time basically we've seen her, has been fake to Kami. So I just feel like, they did an eye for an eye, and is Kami in the wrong? Technically, but is Emily also in the wrong? Yes. So go get your prize, the man who cheats on people. And honestly, they've kind of lost me on this plot just because I don't see Gabrielle as the prize. So I guess I'll be watching season 3 just to see what happens with Alfie. Now let's switch gears, talk about some other characters. Numero uno on the list. Sylvie, married? I had no indication of that season 1, okay? And assuming you already listened to my season 1 reaction, I don't really like Sylvie either, and this season 2 made me like her a little bit more actually, but still not that much. But I do think she is a boss bee, and I respect that. Sylvie's marriage definitely seems more business-oriented than love, so that's, that makes a lot of sense for her, and that's why she has this freedom, and she can make out with her young photographer guy, and there's Anton and his wife, like, oh, okay, that's not your husband. So I guess they don't know she's married. I don't know. I didn't really get that. I love the character Madeline, our super pregnant Hannah Baker's mom from 13 Reasons Why. Corporate, strict rulebook baddie coming into France, and just being a complete opposite of Sylvie, and making Sylvie hate her life so much that she had to make her own company. Mads was amazing. I know she was supposed to be the villain, but I mean, I guess I don't know, is it my American in me that I agreed with a lot of stuff she was saying? And I don't agree with her coming, to Savar and trying to make it so American. Obviously, they're in a different country. They have their work mindset and what works for them. And you more have to learn and kind of blend, and you can't just turn it into America. A lot of what Madeline was concerned about was legit. The money? What do you mean we have a client who we are helping them make, so much revenue, but their fee has remained the same for years? And then when Madeline tries to bring it up to them, Anton's wife, oh, by the way, I apologize for the last episode where I kept calling him Anthony. I wrote it down as Anthony, and then my brain was like, yeah, Anthony, but now I remember it's Anton. But anyway, Anton's wife was basically blackmailing or threatening Madeline that if you raise our fee, we'll go ahead and report this and, ruin the business, whatever, because Sylvie was having an affair or / is with Anton. That's crazy. And then Madeline finds out she's also having a thing with the photographer who was working the event. I can see the show wants her to be the villain, but actually she kind of has a point, and she's more of an annoying nuisance in the office, but job-wise, she kind of was correct in that sense, and Sylvie knew it as well, but she had, wants to do this a certain way, her way, and the only way to do that is you be the boss, and guess what? She left and became her own boss, period. Boss bee moves. But I do respect Madeline for sticking to her guns. The only thing is, I do think she's gonna lose Emily, but we'll talk more about that. Sylvie is just an HR nightmare, and I completely understand why, it would be in the best interest of the company to fire her in Madeline's eyes. But now Madeline has another problem because lovely Sylvie has went on and made her own marketing firm and is now recruiting precious Emily. And I have to say, I love when Sylvie invited Emily to talk, and then the rest of the crew were there, and Emily was like, why didn't you guys tell me? And they were like, we thought you were going to, try and fix it and all this stuff. And they told her that she's actually an amazing worker, and really gassed her up, and like were really kind coworkers to her. And it kind of shows that, like, not only are they friends, but they respect her, and they actually gave her like her accolades or whatever for the good work she does. Because Emily, even though she's like, I see her as a bad friend for like the cheating and all that stuff, I do think she's an amazing worker. She's super passionate about her job, and I like that we finally got to see like them not like dogging on her all the time. Like, they actually show that they appreciate her and her work ethic, and even Sylvie said that too. So it was just a really nice moment. I felt nice for Emily for like getting her dues. So Emily now has a chance to be in France for a while, way longer than she thought, if she takes this job with Sylvie. And then she goes to talk to Mindy, and she gets like, a super motivational speech, and it's kind of like, maybe I should take that job, and I should stay in France, and maybe there is a future for me here long term. And she gets excited, and she's like, oh my gosh, me and Gabrielle can be together. So she decides, let me go see Gabrielle, and knocks on his door, and wham bam, thank you ma'am, we see that him and Cammy are back together, moving in. And that's kind of where we leave off. Emily's like on a bridge and like deciding, like she makes a call, and we don't see what the result is. Sorry, Emily, guess there's gonna be no more downstairs powwow, especially if they're living together. Watch there be one. Watch them like cheat again in season 3. That would be crazy. Now, I do have some predictions for season 3, but before we hop into that, I just want to do a quick blurb like about Mindy and her plotline. Like, I don't know what it is. I just can't get with her character. Like, I'm trying to invest myself into it, but I just don't care. I don't know what it is. Like, I feel more invested in Cammy's character, and maybe like in season 3 we'll see like her interact with her dad, and I'll feel more. But honestly, like, I don't know, I'm not really connecting well with this character, and I think it's like, crazy. Does she have access to her trust fund, to her money? Because she's wearing all these like extravagant stuff, and she takes the coin back when she had put it in her boyfriend's guitar and took it back because she's like, oh, for the bus. And I'm like, I don't understand this. I understand she's facing like embarrassment from her family, but then you continue to sing and people are going to record you, so of course like they're going to see that too. So wouldn't they be still disappointed that you're doing singing? But I don't know, I'm like, I don't get her storyline, and it's not something that's really resonating with me right now. Maybe season 3 it'll become more serious and I will have some more to say about it, but right now I really don't. And I don't like her as a friend either, because I think she enables just bad behavior. And maybe I don't know, I'm looking into the show too deep, and just no hate towards that actress or anything. I think she's great. I just like, I don't know, there's something not clicking with the storyline for me. But I do think, if that's her voice, she has a really fantastic voice. I really like this show for the drama, how many cringy moments it gives me, and also, like, it's really funny too. One of my favorite scenes so far from season 1 and 2 is that letter Emily wrote to Kami, and obviously she doesn't know French well, but having them read it in the black and white was just comedy gold. I loved it, and I loved Kami's response. Like, that scene really had me laughing. And then also I love seeing all the other characters more in this season, especially Julian and Luke. And I love that Luke actually hangs out with Emily. Like, I think he took her to the graveyard for her birthday, and we can see like Julian and Emily's like work competition thing going on. So I love that. Like, they're like co-workers, but they're also really good friends, and they're really sweet to her. And like, especially at the end with Sylvie, and just kind of expressing that they, value her as a worker. I thought that was just so nice. Okay, so my prediction for season 3, I think that at first Emily is going to say no to Sylvie, and because like she's heartbroken about the Gabrielle thing. and decide to go back with Madeline with the American company and just go back to Chicago for a little bit, but realize actually, no, she wants to be in Paris and the show is named Emily in Paris, so she has to stay in Paris. And so she's gonna realize, like, wait, am I putting a guy ahead of my career? Like, that's crazy. And so I think that is going to get her to stay in France, and like some situation's going to come up and only she can fix it. And then they'll be like, see, we need you here. And yeah, I think she's going to obviously stay with Sylvie and the crew. So that's kind of an obvious thing because, I mean, it wouldn't be Emily in Paris without Emily in Paris. But with Alfie, guys, I don't know. It would be it would be insane that Gabrielle and Cami are now dating, right? Wouldn't it be crazy if Emily and Gabrielle cheated again? Right? They wouldn't do that twice. No way. No way. So I'm going to hope that that doesn't happen. And with Alfie, okay, I had this weird feeling. I don't know what it was. Like, it was when Kami was asking Emily about how's her relationship with Alfie going, and at first I was like, did Emily's mom pay Alfie to like date, to like fall in love and date Emily? Like, maybe not fall in love, but at least like distract her, so Kami could move in to Gabrielle. And maybe, I don't know, that seems crazy though. Who would do that? I don't know, Kami's mom seems low-key crazy. But if that's not the case, I do think eventually, like, Alfie will catch on that Emily has feelings for Gabrielle and be like, why would I stay here and leave? Unfortunately for me, who likes to see the actor on the screen. So yeah, I don't think Alfie and Emily are endgame. I hope they are. And I don't know, she just can't seem to get Gabrielle off her mind, and I have no idea why. So yeah, I guess my prediction is, yeah, Alfie will realize the truth and leave. Sadly. I'm sorry, guys, if this is all over the place, because my brain is not working from this cold, but I'm wondering, okay, so Sylvie has her own marketing firm, right? Does she take Anton's business as well? I assume he's going to want to go with her because, you know, like, they did not like Madeline. But, like, will she go up on her fees? It's her business now. Like, are you still going to give him, like, the same treatment? Like, she's not even having an affair with him anymore. It doesn't seem like. It seems like they're in a little rift right now. But I don't know. I'm interested. And we still never saw, like, remember he bought Emily lingerie in the first season. Never saw that brought up again because Emily had lied and told Sylvie Gabrielle had bought that for her. So I don't know, some loose ends here that I'm sure will come back up. But overall, I really do like this show. I think it's just so much fun drama. It's funny, it's cringy, and it's just a perfect show. And I don't really like Emily or Sylvie or, you know, Gabrielle or like our main characters really, but it's still so much fun to watch, and I'm excited. I saw it got renewed for December for a new season, so I'm excited I got into it now so I can actually watch the new season along with everybody else and get surprised. The next episode of this will be Emily in Paris season 3, so be sure to follow this podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe. It's AmandaSushii Speaks with 2 eyes. And also follow me on TikTok because I talk a lot more there and we can interact, and you can tell me your thoughts at AmandaSushii Speaks on TikTok. Thanks you guys so much for listening, and I'm gonna go try and recover so you don't have this voice for next week. Bye!